Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar, and this is Big Discussions 76, Science and Technology. First of all, please like this video, please share it, and please subscribe to my channel if you want to make a donation to the channel. That information is below in the description box, and also please consider joining the Big Words LLC Newsletter. In addition to being a YouTube content creator, I am also a writer and a blogger. Well, this short offering is going to be a bit of a hybrid. So it's going to discuss STEM education and also economics. Over on my original Big Discussions 76 channel, I uploaded a 3-part interview with Dr. Antony Davies and James R. Harrigan, the authors of Cooperation and Coercion and the content creators of the Words and Numbers podcast. Those of you who are subscribed over there, you may have seen these interviews come up on your feed. I'm going to leave all 3 parts below in the description box for this video. Whether or not you have a background in economics or political science, I think a lot of valuable things were talked about in those interviews. So if you haven't seen them, please give them a watch, and please give them a like. I think that they are very relevant for what's happening in our country and today's world. But there was a snippet of that interview, of that discussion, where we were talking about student loan forgiveness, federal student loan forgiveness, and the difference, or should I say, the variability in the worth of college degrees. That came up, as that's a relevant aspect of that student loan forgiveness discussion. And Dr. Davies, as you'll see in the following snippet, he talked about the long-term worth and intrinsic value of a STEM degree versus the other majors. Now, this is not to guilt anyone into majoring in a STEM field, especially if that's not your natural gift, but I think that this is an important part of this discussion, and also it's an important part of looking at where our world and our society is going as everything is becoming more technical and digital, and where the STEM fields are playing an increased role. So once again, please like, share, and subscribe if you want to make a donation to the channel. That information is below in the description box. And also, please consider joining the Big Words LLC newsletter. I'm going to cut right to the ending slide after this snippet. Thank you for watching. And as always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time. Please leave any comments below in the comment section. All right. Take care. All right, so we have 2 more, but before we move on, okay, it sounds like you guys are saying some things are best left to the states. I mean, would that mean the government should get out of the student loan business? I mean, just kind of thinking about today's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
Government should never have been in the student loan business.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this about student loans. People keep asking me about this, and in my kind of canned response is this: look, one of 2 things is true. Either a college degree is valuable or it isn't. If it is valuable, it'll pay for itself. If it's not valuable, then nobody should be paying for it because it's a waste of resources. But either way, there's no argument for government here. The degree should stand on its own. If it can't, the government shouldn't be involved.
Right. And when the government backs a loan so a student can get a degree in medieval lesbian studies, well, That's a student who's not going to be able to turn that degree into a career. Now, I'm not saying the only reason you should get a degree is to have a career. I'm a liberal arts guy. I think you should be a very well-rounded human being. You should know a lot about a lot, but you should know a little about everything. And I think that's, in my preferred world, that's how everybody would approach things. But some degrees don't stack up in the marketplace. And I think you should go a little further on this. It's obvious once you see the data, but it's not obvious until you do.
Yeah, you can look at there's plenty of data out there, and the numbers change a bit from year to year, but the general story is about the same. And that is the STEM majors, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, the return to those over the course of a career is multi-millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. Every one of those is well worth an education, even in $100,000 education. Now I'm talking, forget about masters and PhDs. I'm talking about straight up bachelor's degree students. They'll come out earning $2 to $3, sometimes $4 or $5 million more than they would have without that degree. So clearly, there's no question there. Those are worth what you pay for. But then there's a bunch of degrees. When you go to the other end, I think the bottom one, typically, if it's not the bottom one this year, it will be again next year, and it was a couple of years ago, is child and family studies. The return on child and family studies is less than the return on a high school diploma. So what that means is, after you go to college, you spend 4 years and whatever you spend, $50,000 to $80,000, your labor is worth less than it was worth when you graduated high school, if you study child and family studies.
A negative rate of return.
It's a negative rate of return.
And if you look very carefully, one thing jumps out at you when you take a look at the data. Any degree ending in the word studies is going to be very, very problematic. Every single one of them is a problem, and both the left and the right have part of this under their purview. More often than not, you're looking at a left-wing thing: gender studies, queer studies, right? Things like this. But the conservatives have learned that the liberals have prospered this way, and what have they done? American studies, and all of a sudden, it looks like the flavor of the month. And none of them are worth a damn. And
something to remember is people will say things like, well, yes, but a college education is valuable to society, because if I'm educated, that I'm a more productive member of society, and this is valuable to other people. And because of that, there's a public interest in supporting this education. And here's the problem with that. My value to society, to others, comes from the work that I'm doing. And that's already reflected in my wage rate. If the wage I can earn with my degree can't pay for the degree, then that is specifically telling me that the value of this degree to society isn't worth the resources. Now, it may be worth it to me. I want to study art, and I enjoy it. It makes me a better person. That's fine. Go with God. But there's no reason there why I should be foisting that cost on somebody else. That benefit's going to me alone.
Yep, that's right. The rest of us weren't involved in that choice. You had your choice. You could have done anything you wanted. You chose. Well, yeah. Now we all have to live with that. And it's that last part that people seem to find so difficult. Mm-hmm. They seem to be saying over and over again, reimburse me for my tragically bad choices. Well, I can't see one reason why we would.
And I think